Hello everybody. For this project we're going to be using a mason jar lid to create an ornament, whether you for your mixed media wreath or your Christmas tree. So let's go down to the table and don't be overwhelmed with all the supplies. I'm just going to give you some options of what you can do. So I've just got the mason jar lid, simple as that, and then I'm using the actual jar for something else. I got a little wooden star, and this is from just a kids pack at Michael's. The rest are all broken, so I won't be able to use those. Well, maybe I will. So I don't even know if you can get these anymore, but it doesn't matter. Anything that looks like a snowflake. Now, these are super delicate, but they come with a sticker, and I want to get that little foam sticker off of there. Don't want that garbage on there. And so first thing we're going to do, we're going to gesso the star because we want the metallic paint to really stand out. So we're going to be using Decor Media white gesso. And then from there, we're going to be painting it. I'm going to be painting it with the Decor Dazzling Metallic Rose Gold because I'm making my whole piece rose gold and silver, like a coordinated piece. Once that's dry, then I'm going to put on a chromatic black, and I'm going to be making it with phthalo blue and transparent red iron oxide in the Decor Media Fluid acrylics. You can use the Traditions as well. And you can also use, let's say, burnt sienna and ultramarine blue if you've got the premium acrylics. If you don't like the flat finish of the acrylic, because what I want to do is have a metallic star on a flat background, you can pearlize it a bit. If you have a pearlizing medium, which will give it a slight shimmer, you can do that. The other thing you can do is, if you want it super glittery, when the paint is wet, you can add in, let's say, some glamour dust, which is really, really fine glitter. It's not like the typical chunky glitter, but this is like super dusty, and it comes in crystal and gold. So those are some options for you. And I put a sealer on this. Now I already did this in advance because I did 3 coats, and I use the Decor Traditions multi-surface sealer. Any multi-surface sealer or all-purpose sealer will work for that, and I just put it on here. Okay. And the liquid glass is just an option if you want to dot an embellishment on the star after the fact. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with this to make them all different. I'm going to show you a very basic, simple step. And then once the whole piece is done, then you'll see how you can really personalize it to make it your own. And I've got some ribbon as well. All right, and I've got my glue gun here for putting the whole thing together. So we're going to paint it first. So I've already did the multi-surface sealer, and then I'm going to gesso. And we only need 1 coat of gesso. Also, you know, we could have saved some time and just did black gesso. Oh well. But we don't need a heavy coat of gesso. We just want to get rid of that silver because we're going to be putting on a chromatic black. So that's really all we need. And you can, from here, you can also, you know, tap to make a pattern to make it look like snow. But when you put the chromatic black on top of that, that pattern is going to show. So that's up to you. And this part here is going to be glued into the mason jar ring, so you don't need to worry about it. Take care of that. And I'm going to use my heat gun to speed up the drying time. Now, one thing to remember, when you're working on mason jar lids, if you're using a heat gun, this will get very hot, which might bubble the paint. So make sure that you keep it far enough away so it doesn't overheat, or you could use a blow dryer on the low setting. So, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to prime the star. Oops! Let's do that too. The drying time is the worst part. I don't have any patience for this. And this one I took a little bit of water in my brush. If you put the gesso on too thick on something like this, what's going to happen is that the gesso is going to clump up in the pieces. But you can see here, see it's very fluid and it's caught like that. You just kind of have to go in and break up that air bubble. There we go. Just I'll let that dry. Put that aside. Now, oh yeah, the chromatic black. Put that away. Yeah, just gonna put, and even that's too much paint. This stuff goes really far. Now I'm using transparent red iron oxide and the fluid acrylics. No longer available. So you have to go to Traditions or make up your own. Going to rinse that brush. You want to make sure your brush is nice and clean. So equal parts of phthalo blue and transparent red iron oxide will make a nice dark chromatic black that's more on the blue side. I don't know if you can see. There we go. And the other alternative for chromatic black, like if you can use Mars black or carbon black, it's going to be really flat. So I like making my own black. Viridian with transparent red iron oxide, or anything alizarin crimson with Viridian or phthalo green on the blue side will make a really nice dark as well. That's turquoise. That's a little too turquoisey. Turquoisey. I'm gonna add a bit more transparent red iron oxide. But ultramarine blue and burnt sienna work well too. But because we're using blue, phthalo blue, you know what? I should have used phthalo greens. I picked up the wrong paint. Oh my god. Okay, well, let's just prime this anyways. It should be green. But that's actually kind of nice, isn't it? I think I'm going to leave it this color because with the rose gold, it's kind of like a reddish. Red and green are opposite on the color wheel. Okay. Happy accident. But you can see how transparent it is. So I'm going to put on enough coats of paint on this, letting each layer dry until I have a complete finish on this. Now, if you didn't want to wait, not so much wasting your time, but if you didn't want to do all those layers, you can use a texture paint like what's up there. One of the texture paints, and with a palette knife, and just put that on there. But you probably would still have to wait a few hours for that to dry, but you're not having to put so many layers of paint on. That's completely up to you. All right, so that's that. So I'm going to put that brush aside. I'm going to get a fresh brush. You know what? I'm going to use a round brush instead. And let's go over here. Oh, I wish I had a shaking machine. Oh my God. I was making, I'm doing well, it's not really, well, I guess you call it mixed media, where I'm making, I've made a form, and I'm using resin. I'm layering wood, moss, some string, and all that stuff, and then I mix some the decor metallics in with some, and I'm just resining, and then cut it to make some jewelry. And some of the art resin inks, the metallic just sinks to the bottom. That's why I like using the decor art stuff better, because you can take the cap off and stir by hand. You can't open them. So Joe's my shaking machine on those. But I like the bottles where you can take this off in case. Sometimes you don't use these for a while and the pigment sinks to the bottom. Not a problem with the decor stuff. All right. So now I'm just going to... This paint, when I do this, it goes on like in one coat. I absolutely love how the coverage of this rose gold. Absolutely love it. Now, you can use any color you want, but like my wreath is primarily going to be silver and the rose gold coordinated. So use whatever you want. And then with the little round brush, and I'm going to kind of tap inside to get inside all the little crevices. Now, if you couldn't get access to stuff like this, cut out a star out of cardboard or paper, paint it, and then we'll glue it on in the same fashion. You don't need to go out and buy these little things. I doubt I'll buy these again because they're so flimsy. And they're supposed to be for kids. Could you imagine a kid handling this stuff? I mean, it's really, really, really delicate. Okay, I'm going to put that on side, and oh, I didn't need all that paint. So I put on about 5 coats of paint, and look how dark it is. Perfect. So now I've got my glue gun ready to go. All right, so what we're going to do, basically going to glue it like that. So I just need to get glue on that rim. Now I could put the glue on here, but then it might spew over. So I'm going to put it actually just in the edge, and hopefully I won't burn myself. Gotta work fast. You don't have to go all the way around. It's not going to have a lot of wear and tear on it. Even just in a few spots is fine. You can see the finish on that. So if you didn't like, you know, a satiny finish, you can put a layer of matte medium on top of that, and that'll dull it down. Okay, and then I'm going to take our little rose gold star. I'm just going to put, and you can use glue for this as well, even the matte medium. I want to try to get it where it doesn't spew out. Oh, you know what? I think it will. I don't think you can really avoid that because of this. It's so delicate. You want to get that right about in the middle. And then if I can get my tweezers, and I can just clean up all the little extra bits of glue. Okay, there we go. Now I cut a piece of ribbon, rose gold ribbon as well, and because I suck at ribbon tying, what I'm going to do, I'm going to roughly divide that out, find the center point right there, and I'm going to put a dab of glue right there just to hold it, because like I said, I am not good at all with this. And put a dab of glue there. Anything that makes my job easier. And I can't even hold a glue gun properly today. I want this to be nice and snug. But like I said, you can use regular glue. Don't have to use a glue gun. Okay. That's nice and snug. Now I can tie this. And then how you decide to hang it up is completely up to you. I'm going to double knot this, making sure that it's always the fancy side that's facing upwards. And then you can, like with the wire, you can form it any way you want. Oh, I didn't cut it quite long enough, but if it was longer, you could have made like a multi-form bow. You could also just tie it at the top with a single knot, and that's how you can hang it on your tree. But this is going to be for my wreath, so with the wire I have here, once I put it on the wreath, then I can form this any way I want. There you go. Very, very simple little project. Glue everywhere. Very simple little project, and using just a mason jar, some type of star, which you can do on paper and just paint it, and a ribbon. Okay, so options. You don't have ribbon? Use twine. Just wrap twine around there. I could take the liquid glass and put dots on the end if I want. That's specialty products, so you don't have to have that. So any type of paint that's as dark as black, any type of metallic, and ideally if the metallic matches the ribbon, fine. If not, don't worry about it. If you don't have metallic paint, you can paint the star white and then just use twine for here. String, whatever you want. Take a piece of fabric and cut it. There's so many different options that you can make this without having to go out and buy anything. So there you go. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I would love to see your rendition of this using your own supplies. Post a picture below and I look forward to seeing it. So until I see you in the next project, stay inspired.